We're moments away from the closing bell. I'm Scarlet Fu.
I'm Joe Weisenthal.
I'm Alex Steele.
This pain is pretty remarkable.
Indeed. And speaking of pain, this is one chart that really stood out to me. We're going to look at the three most important things that happen in the markets. Talk about negativity when it comes to oil. This is the open interest for March WTI $25 puts. That basically gives you the right to sell oil at $25. Will you take a look at this spike in...
Speaking of oil and speaking of the ramifications that weak oil is having on the economy, I want to dive into the terminal and take a look at this morning's Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index plunging to negative 34.6. Anything sub-zero is considered contraction. Negative 34.6. I mean, these are numbers we haven't seen outside.
And here's one more chart on oil for you, by the way. As we know, oil giving back some of last week's big gains, but a different way of looking at the pressure that oil is putting on the rest of the market is the USO. This is the ETF that tracks WTI crude. The white line, obviously, the price of that ETF. The green line is... And, JC, you say that the S&P 500 is actually in worse shape than many people think. So far this year, what? The S&P is down around 8%. And, JC...
Oh, is this capitulation? Is this capitulation? What are the indicators that you like to look...
Producer just sent across a headline that said 20 S&P 500 stocks, Alex, making fresh 52-week lows.
Yeah, and part of that really has to do with the financials, JC. S&P financials closing at their lowest level since February 2014. Can you talk about the
sensitive group? You're also looking at utilities, JC, and you also see a lot of bearish signals there. There's a smile.
What do the charts tell you about Apple right now?
Sure, and...
Coming up, more downside risk in U.S. markets? That's next.
10% decline until we hit bottom for the S&P. What does that 10% decline look? Perspective, Doug Ramsey, Leafield Whedon Capital Management. So...
I'm Scarlet Fu. What'd you miss? Financial conditions have been tightening. We've got the FOMC meeting this week. How much will the market swings shift the Fed's risk assessment? Neil Dutta asks that question and provided this chart for us. So come inside the Bloomberg terminal here to...
Volatility is going to impact the Fed in some way, even if the Fed claims that it looks through that. And you can just see the pricing of the... to see in a statement that's not a press conference how the Fed acknowledges what we've seen happen in the market so far.
I have something really nerdy and commodity-oriented that I want to share.
That we would be at some sort of bottom, theoretically.
Theoretically, and then you can see higher prices because that's contracting.
There have been some red flags, right? We've heard from suppliers
Absolutely.
that their orders are down. We've also heard from Samsung that their handset sales were lower as well.
And
this is kind of the end of an era.
It seems like the market's definitely hanging over Apple in tomorrow's earnings.
Absolutely.
And whether
I think we might talk about it tomorrow.
Things over too.
I think we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Maybe a couple minutes, right? All right, coming up, we're joined by one strategist.
Stephen, you said that the fear among the markets may be an overreaction. Tell us why.
What you need to know to gear up for tomorrow's trading day next.